Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Google Webmaster Tools, which is a very cool free program by Google that you can use to increase your visibility in search. So once you have Webmaster Tools installed in your site and you log in, this is the screen you'll see, which is the Webmaster Tools homepage. And if you have multiple sites under the same account, you'll notice that there'll be multiple sites listed here, but considering I only have one associated with this account, there's only one here. And to see more information about a site, click on this link and you'll be taken to the Webmaster Tools site dashboard. And here I'll go over each of the most important parts of the dashboard and some of the most important features of Webmaster Tools. Now, here obviously new and important is obviously important, right? And this is where Webmaster Tools will send you messages like if they can't access your site, if they find malware on your site, or if they detect unnatural links. Next area we'll talk about is crawl errors. Now this is where Googlebot went to your site and for some reason they weren't able to fully access pages on your site, okay? Now if you notice that there are URL errors here, don't freak out. Most sites, especially larger sites, have some URL errors and generally they're not pages that you want Google to check out anyway. But if you are having an issue with Google indexing a page in your site, this may be a way to identify what's going on. In a later video, we'll go into more detail on how to identify and fix the most common crawl errors that you might come across. The next area we'll talk about are search queries, and this just goes over how people search for your site, okay? Where people, what keywords they use and where you end up. And let's just go over quickly what this area looks like because it's very important for your search visibility. So as you can see, this is 462 queries, which just means that people found my site using 462 different keywords in total, okay? And impressions is just people saw my page in the Google results. So if you, let's say, are on the third page and someone went to the third page, this counts as an impression even if no one clicked. And obviously clicks are when people actually do click on your website. So that's it for that. Let's go back to the dashboard. Next we're going to go over sitemaps, okay? And sitemaps is just very straightforward. It is the sitemap that usually a plugin like Yoast or maybe a sitemaps plugin in WordPress, and it just maps out the pages that you want Google to find. And in this case, I submitted 23 URLs and I have 23 URLs indexed, okay? So we're all set there. Now, let's go over some of the important features of Google Webmaster Tools that don't show up in the dashboard. And the first is search appearance, okay? So let's go over structured data. Now, this doesn't make sense for every website, and structured data is just something called schema that you add to your site. For example, if you wanted to show star reviews or different areas of your site, if you want to emphasize a section of your website, you could use schema to do that. And I don't have that on my site, and it doesn't make sense for every site. And this is just a great way to learn more about it if you head into your Webmaster Tools and see if it's appropriate for your website. We already went over search traffic, search queries, which is just how people find your site and where you're showing up for certain keywords. You can also look at links to your site and internal links. Now, links to your site is where Google finds people linking to your site. And this actually isn't a very good way to figure out, who's linking to your site, because you can see like Scoop It is no follow and it's definitely not 1,200 links. Escortgirls.name, whatever that is linking this many times. So this isn't necessarily a good way to do find out who's actually linking to your site. I don't use this very often. If you want to find who is linking to your site the most, you should use a program like Ahrefs or Majestic or Open Site Explorer, something like this. But it's a good idea just to check it out and see what Google's finding that maybe some of the other programs aren't. Next, we'll look at internal links. And this is where you have other links that we talked about in another video that are linking to other pages on your site. And in this case, it goes over the pages that are linked to the most. And for most sites, it's going to be your terms of service, your privacy policy, your contact page. But then you also want to see if you're linking to pages that you want to rank highly, okay? And we'll go over that later in another video. Under Google Index, this is where we talked about index status and where they might have some trouble, finding certain pages on your site. And if you have increased, the pages that you can index on your site or added content, this will go up similar to what you're seeing here. Now, crawl errors. Again, in a later video, I'll go over more detail, but this is just what you want to see here, that these 3 things are checked off: DNS, server connectivity, and robots.tech. So this just means Google can fully access your site, the server is working fine, and everything like that. Next, we'll look at malware. Now, obviously, you don't want malware on your site. You generally won't have malware on your site, and if you do, Google will notify you. So you don't usually have to check this often, because if Google does find malware on your site, it'll let you know. Next, we'll go over some additional tools, which is a structured data testing tool. So if you do have schema on your site, like star reviews or things like that, you can click on that and test to make sure it's working okay. Google Places, or Google Plus Local as it's now known, you can click on this to make sure that your Google Places account is all set up if you run a local business. Next, we'll talk about labs, okay? And author stats, if you have rel author applied to your site and you contribute to other websites, this shows you your search visibility for all the articles that you've written for your site and other sites, which is pretty cool. So it's very similar to the feature that I showed you earlier, except this, for example, if I guest posted somewhere like a search engine journal, it shows also the impressions and the clicks for that as well. So that's it for a basic overview of Google Webmaster Tools, and next video I'll show you some advanced features that you can use to increase your visibility in search. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.